This video will contain minor spoilers for Persona 5, Stardew Valley, and the Elder Scrolls Skyrim. You have been warned. Also, I think my YouTube channel has made me younger. I'm getting pimples again for the first time in my life in like 10 years. Great video games all have one thing in common, a clear objective. From the moment that you first pull up your plumber's pants, equip your laser pistol, or commit an act of eco-terrorism against an industrial power plant, an objective is presented to you that you must fulfill. Save a princess, save the earth, stop the emo kid. And from the dawn of gaming, people quickly want to become the best at doing so, many taking it to the extreme. But for us plebeians that don't have thousands of hours to become professional speedrunners, we just settle on being the best we can be. But sometimes in our efforts to actually become better at the games that we play, we end up making them much less fun to play, ruining an otherwise great game. So join me as I examine 3 games that I absolutely love, that I never fail to ruin for myself. In Persona 5, you assume the role of Ren Amamiya. Ren Amamiya. Every day is a balancing act between various activities crucial for character development and plot progression. You attend classes, participate in extracurricular activities, and interact with students and teachers. And this slice of life aspect is very endearing. It allows you to connect with the characters and feel the weight of your decisions. Developing relationships with your teammates, known as confidants in Persona 5, is vital. Each confidant has their own unique storyline, and helping them has their own unique gameplay benefits. By spending time with them, you unlock new abilities, new powers, and exclusive items. And to me, the narratives that you experience with these confidants are the most endearing of all the stories in the game, which often delve into themes of personal growth and even societal issues. And Persona 5 isn't a kid's high school game. It trends into some pretty adult territory despite not being an odd high school dating sim. Like, look at these suggestive enemies that appear in the game. And the game isn't only about hanging around high school, it's also about your parallel life as a phantom thief. You and your friends must explore the metaverse, an alternate reality formed by the subconscious desires of corrupt individuals near you. And here you find the palaces, the game's version of dungeons, which are twisted manifestations of these desires. But if the phantom thieves are able to retrieve the treasure hidden at the center of these palaces, the corrupt individual sees the error of their ways. And because of that, each palace is distinct and unique, each with their own distinct themes, puzzles, and enemies, culminating in a boss that represents their desires themselves, like, look at this one. Not again. However, with as much as there is to do in the game doesn't give you time to do everything. The game operates on a calendar system, broken into 3 slots, morning, afternoon, and evening. While the morning is reserved for classes, the afternoon and evening is free time, which you're able to either explore the dungeons or hang out with your friends. And time management becomes a pretty pressing issue. Do I go have ramen with my female friends, or do I go into a dungeon full of monsters? Where still, a critical deadline is imposed that if you don't meet the date, you reach a game over. And this time management element creates a constant tension, pushing you to be as efficient as possible. And it's in this balancing act that I never fail to ruin my own experience. I'm a bit of a completionist if my PlayStation trophies are any indicator, and indeed it is possible to see everything the game has to offer in a single playthrough. But not much time is given in leeway, and so I have no choice but to be as efficient as possible. But to me, the most efficient form of gameplay is also the most tedious. Dungeons aren't particularly short, often a 2 to 3 hour slog at a time, and the most efficient way is to do them as soon as they become available, finishing them in a single evening. This of course frees up whatever remaining time of the month is possible to spend time with your friends. Unfortunately, this splits the game into 2 distinct segments, each extremely long, between suffering through a dungeon followed by endless cutscenes for the remainder of the time. Alternating between these 2 is a much more enjoyable experience, and certainly is how I'd recommend anybody play the game if it's their first time through. That said, I can never bring myself to do it, and in fact, because of this, I've only ever actually completed Persona 5 once, despite it being one of my favorite games of all time. And through all of this, I suppose I learned something about myself, that when put in the position of either entering a dungeon or speaking with high schoolers for several hours, I'll just turn off my console. And here's a little Easter egg. Did you know that Ren Amamiya's name loosely translates to Rain Palace? For anyone that's beaten the game, that's a pretty important thing and a pretty cool Easter egg, if you ask me. And also, we hit 100 subscribers. Yay!
There was much rejoicing.
Stardew Valley begins with you quitting your job at a cola factory after having inherited a farm from your grandfather with nothing but a handful of seeds. If it's not obvious, I love slice-of-life games. And this is no exception. Stardew Valley is an adorable slice-of-life game that is probably one of my favorite of all time, truly, and even contains some pretty deep symbolic meanings to it if you want to watch another one of my videos. An almost therapeutic experience. In Stardew Valley, you help grow a community while making friends and tending to your farm. And this would be a peaceful existence, except for one little problem.
Money!
The heart of your success, of course, lies in your ability to generate and manage money. A pretty cruel and ironic fact for somebody that quit their job because they were too focused on the stresses of business life. Which I suppose is the greater moral of the story, because you certainly can sap, get it, like a tree, sap, your enjoyment of the game out of it by focusing too much on money. And it takes conscious effort for myself to not fall into this trap. The day begins with planting and watering your crops, each step a chance to generate further profits. And as your profits grow, so too does your ability to plant even more seeds, deepening this process. And with more money comes more chores, more seeds, more animals, more to do. All on a very tight time schedule. And once your morning chores are done, the quest for money continues. Get out of the way, Pam! Perhaps you'll dive into the mines to get rare ores to be able to upgrade your tools to be more efficient at your farm work. Or even collect rare gems simply to hawk them for cash. And in 9 out of 10 of my Stardew games, it's not uncommon for me by summer to have planted so many blueberries that it uses my entire energy bar just to care for them, sapping all enjoyment I have out of the game. No time to talk to anybody. Get out of the way, Pam. Forcing me to end my days immediately after tending my crops, doing away with all the social aspects of the game. And of course, there's still some fun to be had of finding a star drop which will extend my energy bar, allowing me to do even more work in a single day and plant more blueberries. But the endless grind is all worth it. Once I'm over this one small, insignificant hump, I'll be able to automate the entire process. Only a few more seasons and then I'll have sprinklers, and once I get them, I realize I now have nothing to do. And the whiplash I experience, having gone from doing too much work in a single day to swinging to having nothing to do at all, never fails to ruin my experience. Get out of the way, Pam. Which of course, at that point, there's only one thing to do. Start all over again. The Elder Scrolls Skyrim is undoubtedly one of the most beloved games of all time. Placed in the role of the legendary Dragonborn, the player has the entire world at their fingertips. With minimal story direction and no real limitation on one's own power, each playthrough is beautifully unique, and with no clear defined classes, each playthrough a chance to make yet another stealth archer. While Skyrim's main storyline is fairly short if you stick with it expressly, the game has hundreds of hours of side content. And the allure of 100% completing such a game is almost irresistible to me. But the only way to complete something so large is to try to do so efficiently, and in Skyrim that means more quickly defeating your enemies. And fortunately in Skyrim, there is a way to kill your enemies quite quickly. This of course lies at the heart of Skyrim's unique level-up system. Skyrim's level-up system revolves around a set of diverse skills, each trained by using their associated abilities. Using one-handed weapons improves one-handed, shields improve shields, destruction spells improve destruction. And as noted, there is no defined class system. You could max every skill at once and experience the game as a master mage warrior wizard archer. And with such power at your fingertips, one could wonder, what is the best skill then? What will actually have me achieve my goals of being the best there ever was? Only 2 are necessary to completely break your game into a state of near unplayability. And if you didn't know about this, I'm sorry you do now, because it's pretty hard to resist once you do. Somewhat surprisingly, the strongest skills in the game are actually the crafting ones, particularly alchemy and enchanting. Which is ironic, because if you set out in a playthrough to do this expressly, you can become a god in Skyrim by never leaving town. And all you have to do is grind horribly to reach maximum enchanting and maximum alchemy. The first step is simply enchanting Fortify Alchemy on all of your equipment that you can, even potentially doubling it by doing a helmet glitch of wearing a circlet and Falmer helmet at the same time. And with this, you can craft a very powerful Fortify Restoration potion. And what the game doesn't tell you through Bethesda's jank is that it considers buffs like Fortify Alchemy and Fortify Enchant as restoration spells. So if one were to drink the potion and quickly unequip and re-equip their equipment, the buffs would multiply. And the observant of you notice the infinite loop that immediately gets set up, allowing you to buff your enchanting, to buff your alchemy, to buff your smithing, creating weapons that deal, frankly, insane amounts of damage. In fact, if you actually craft a ring that boosts your health by too much, when you take it off, you'll die immediately every time, completely corrupting your game. And despite knowing that I ruin my game every time by having a fork that can slay a dragon, I can't help myself as soon as I begin to get bored with the game to go down this path of irreparably destroying my save file. Which, I suppose, much like Stardew Valley, nothing else to do here but start again. Hi everyone, thanks so much for tuning in as always, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's a bit less deep than the previous videos, but curious to see what kind of content works best, and if you have an opinion, please let me know down in the comments. Otherwise, as always, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video. It helps grow the channel, which, as you've seen, is growing quite quickly, so thank you all again so much for your support. And as always, I hope everyone had a great week and will have a great weekend. Just a quick reminder, as always, that you are a valuable person and that you are loved. Enjoy your days, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.